Okay, marking day one of getting everything together for the shootout. I decided for episode 10, we might as well take the cars that we've had in the show and shoot them out. But, so far we have this Covet, which we will be working on now, because we have to get that ready. And over here we have the Barstow, we have Sean's Impala, and we have the two ETKs. The two ETKs we do not need to work on, because they're fine. They're going to run because ETK gave us some nice, fancy cars. The Impala has an issue with the turbo overheating, so the Impala might get the turbo taken out. The Barstow is completely fine, but we might put different tires on it just for this event. But the main part is right here. So far the cars that are unknown is the Derby wheelie car. It's unknown if that thing is going to be participating. We have Sean's Impala, we have the Barstow. We have both ETKs. The Jeepster, we don't know if that's going to be participating, because that might need to get a new engine. Stubby Bob is broken. Yet again, yes, it's broken, it won't do wheelies, and it's probably not going to race. The Sean Burst is unknown. General Hawk we're working on, and you'll see that in possibly tomorrow's clip. So that's about a dozen cars. Well, almost a dozen cars. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the drag side, which went to Bonneville, that's a wall. That is yet to be worked on from when it was on fire. The Roadkill Barstow will be participating because it's been in 2 videos now, but also the Barstow has been worked on tremendously. It's been painted. It's pretty much not even really Roadkill anymore. It's actually like a well-made car. And just for the fun of it, that's 9 cars? But just for the fun of it, we were going to throw in this Covet here. This is a beater. But we're going to make it a little faster because this thing will have no chance against any other cars. But we're going to add a turbo to it and maybe some other freaky stuff. Cars that I want to get in this, though, Stubby Bob won't be in this. But the Derby car is probably going to end up being in this. We might end up getting General Mayhem just to level it out. The Sean Burst might not be in it. I know General Hawk would definitely be in it. But yeah, but so far, this is everything that we have right now. We're pretty much trying to assemble the fleet, at least of the 10 cars that I've built in videos. Now, obviously that's already a hard task because there's 10 cars that are AWOL, some of them don't work, some of them do, some of them need work, including the Covet here. The Covet, basically this engine's about to blow. Like, I think it's a blown 4-cylinder. It's about to blow. You can see that it smokes more than a heavy smoker. But it has some pickup to it, which is very odd for this type of car. Covets haven't really been, very fast or very usable cars, but the Covet here is actually really good. This thing with a turbo and maybe some new tires might actually have a chance of doing well versus some of the Roadkill cars. We already know that the ETKs are going to be complete domination. I think it's actually the goal to beat the ETKs, so we'll run them first, and then we'll have the rest of the Roadkill fleet go. I was also thinking about maybe running one of the ETKs with a trailer just for fun, but I don't think the trailer will last as long as we saw in episode 4. But as you can see here, 80 miles an hour in the freeway, it's a decent car. It doesn't surge, it doesn't lack power. The engine's actually relatively healthy. I'm pretty sure it is a blown cylinder, so this car may be running at 3 cylinders, but Obviously, in the way of Roadkill, we're not going to fix this thing. We're not going to drop a new engine in this piece of crap. We're just going to keep the engine and throw a turbo on it. And some new tires and maybe a body kit. I don't know. We might do a body kit. We'll see in a couple minutes here when we get back to the garage. I just want to show the drivability of this thing, because this thing's really solid. And if the turbo's pretty solid, this might actually be the best car there, at least handling-wise. Well, other than brakes, because this thing's brakes are probably about to go. Well, you know what? Let's test the brakes. The brakes are actually good. That is amazing. Oh my god, that's sliding all over the place. This is actually a really solid car. Like, it brakes pretty well. Obviously, I think if we give it better brakes and maybe some better tires, it will brake better. But other than that, the Covet here is actually pretty good. It's really a $300 car that you would find online. Like, this thing isn't really... well, we're just gonna go back now. That's the one thing that's wrong with this car, is the tires. They don't grip. They're not big enough. The tires are actually the size of pizza cutters. So look at them. They're not that big. We could probably get tires that are wider and may fit with our cheap body kit. But let's take a look at what this thing is packing. Let me also change this while we're here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll look into the body kit later. We're gonna leave the radiator out for now, I would assume. We might put a skid plate in, but I want to look at the engine. Let's take a hood off. Let's take the hood off. There it is. It is a 4-cylinder, and it's front-wheel drive. So this thing obviously sucks. Look at it just... Look at the radiator smoking. Yeah, this thing is terrible. But it's a good kind of terrible. So if we look here, it's a 1.5 liter carbureted i4. Probably a 3-cylinder because it smokes like a mother. Probably not going to need the exhaust after this. And let's put a stage 1 turbo. And I guess we'll keep the 4-speed manual. And it's an open front diff. Not even all-wheel drive, surprisingly. Oh yeah, it is just a smoke machine now in the front. Just because we removed that. Oh god. Alright, let's try. Let's see how much of it, let's see how faster it is. Oh wow! It's actually a lot faster. It actually made a little bit of gain. You can actually spin the tires. Wow. Get back on the road here. Let's see. Yeah, it can spin the tires! That is awesome! This thing is a beast! This might be one of the best cars there. Just to get back there faster. Alright. So let's worry about the body kit here. Yes. Body kit. And I think this body kit is just going to show how much I'm willing to put into this car. If you look on the hood there, what do you think that is? Not only that. Yep. Cardboard. Best body kit you could get. I mean, we're removing the bumpers, which, you know, they're broken bumpers anyways. It doesn't really matter. See, this thing even has a diffuser now. This thing is already better. And I think just because we're going to need a little bit of aerodynamics. Where is it? Where is... Oh, yeah. Let's just put a skid plate in so that I don't wreck the oil pan. Because I think it'll be pretty obvious when I just completely scratch the skid plate into the oil pan and probably break that. I was pretty sure that I could put a spoiler on this. Would it be on tailgate? Ah, yes, spoiler. Cardboard spoiler. Yeah! What do you think about this beast? It smokes like a mother. It's cheap. This thing's worse than the Rotson, and that is saying something. So, final touch is the wheels. What do I want to do with the wheels? It is some old Steelies, but we're going to put on... If I can no, I think they were... When I see the name, I'll know. Yes. Let's go with 15 by 8. Yeah, they're decent. Alright. Rear suspension. Yeah, that's good. This thing's a beast. Alright. Let's see. Oh, it even turns better. Now, let's just see. You can just see all the white smoke pouring out. Yeah, this thing's great. Oh yeah, this thing's great. All right, so we'll be back with day 2 and trying to get all these cars together. Okay, everybody, welcome to day 2 of getting ready for the massive shootout. We're now down here in Texas, as you can see. We finally got this thing registered. It's sadly here. The only roadkill car that will have a Texas plate, being the Grandma Go-Getter. This thing was in an extra. It's basically this old car that we bought off an old lady, and it's basically our last resort, because so far the list concerns of cars that we are going to be using. General Mayhem will be there. The Sean Burst, which is up and running, I gotta do a little bit more work to that. General Hawk needs a little bit more work and maybe an exhaust system. Stubby Bob is broken. The Derby Wheelie car will be there. The Roadkill Barstow, the Restarsto will be there, but I think the Restarsto is actually good. The ETK 800, the ETK I series. The Jeepster is still unknown. We might throw the V8 back in it because that might have a chance of actually beating the 2 ETKs. The Impala will be there. The Covet, which we worked on yesterday. The drag side is still burnt to a crisp. And it's mostly all the cars that you've seen in the past 9 episodes. So, the Ratson will be another car, and the Grandma Go-Getter, which is here and is running, so I can check that off. Now, I don't know how good of a handling car this is. I don't want to run it at this track. This is the track that I'll be running the cars at. I don't want to have it be unfair. I want to mainly use a lot of these cars without any practice on the track, other than when I'm testing them after working on them, just to make sure that they run. So, I'll run this thing over here, at least as hard as I can. Now, the sad thing about the Grandma Go-Getter is that it's not a manual. So I think it's going to have a little bit of an unfair advantage because of its fat tires, because we put off-road tires on it, imaginably. That's the smartest thing to do with a new car. And I also put, whatchamacallit? Well, this thing came with an automatic, and I would love to put a manual in this thing, but the episode for this thing has not come yet. So, ooh, it spun out a little. But I can say, for the stock engine, for the car being relatively what it is, it's a good car. I mean, it runs well. It sucks that it's an automatic. I can slide around the dirt here. Ooh, hit the bumper against the wall there. This thing goes pretty good. Now, as in the cars that I've worked on and that are 100% ready, right now the Ratson, if you remember, the Ratson used to have a bash bar in the front because when we first got the car, we ripped the bumper off when we were taking it off dirt roads. So, yeah, the Ratson now has teeth. It is racing slicks though, because the old tires were shot. Of course this happens. And it'll be fun. But it's, it rides a little bit better now. At least it's given the Ratson a little bit more of an advantage over the ETKs with their ABS and, traction control and everything. But other than that, the Ratson's pretty much good. The Covet's pretty much done. The Jeepster, we're probably going to throw the V8 in it. Because the diesel engine that you saw, it's not a very good engine. Like, in my honest opinion, it's not a good engine at all. It doesn't make much power, so that diesel might go into another Jeep eventually. But yeah. Let's see what else. General Mayhem, I think I'm just going to put new tires on that between now and when we're actually doing the shootout. The Sean Burst, what I did is gave it new tires, and I'm pretty sure the turbo is going to blow. I gave it a new turbo, I got that working, but I'm pretty sure the turbo is going to break. Sean's engine is not very good in that car, so that thing might be getting a new engine eventually. As you can see, I'm trying to take this around a drift course. This thing can smoke tires, though. I gotta give it credit for that. It can't do a burnout, though. At least I'm pretty sure it can't do a burnout. Try. No. Oh yeah, because it's a manual. Shit. Oh! It moves the tires a little. Try it in reverse. No. Oh, that sucks. Alright, well, yeah. Other than that, let me look at my list again. Other than that, I think everything was pretty much worked on. We have all 12 cars. And yeah, tomorrow's track day. So you'll see all these cars get to run their times. And make miserable amounts of power compared to the ETK engines that they have. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with the race. Okay, it is race day. We're here in the ETK 800 now. How we got this car is pretty much with ETK. They gave us 2 cars to use. But we didn't want that because obviously they gave us the 2 fastest cars. So instead we decided to keep them as a part of the fleet. And now we are going to be running 10 other Roadkill cars versus the ETK 800 and the ETK I series. We're going to be seeing if there's a Roadkill car out there that can beat one of these suckers. So each car is going to get 1 timed lap, and we will go now. And now, I'm pretty sure that this thing is going to be incredibly good on the track, because this is a modern day car. Now, we're just going to be running the standard track. I've run this track so much in the past, but not with some of these cars. But I think this is going to go extremely well for the ETK here. Yeah, I'd like to consider this a Roadkill test track, but mainly we're out of Utah, so yeah. Kind of cool. The ETK gets a 40-second lap time. Oh my god. So the ETK got a 40.96 second run. This is the 800. So 40.896. Whoopsie. 96. There we go. And of course I get a message. Alright. We're gonna get the next car ready. Now, in my personal opinion, with the ETK I series here, I think this ETK is going to be faster. For one reason only. Wow, okay, I get a message from lunchtime and now I get a message now. The fuck Skype. Stupid tame Skype. Let's bring the timer back up. So the ETK the ETK 800 got a 40.96, which is pretty good. I think this thing is going to be slightly faster. And go. Ooh. It's kind of hard doing this on my own, but yeah. But I think this thing is going to be a lot faster just because of the size of the car. If I could get it to stay under control. But yeah, these things have such less of a chance of sliding because, you know, they have traction control, they have ABS, they have everything that all of the other cars don't have, which isn't good. But this ETK runs a 40.17. So 40.17 run. So it is faster by a lot, surprisingly. That is surprising for this car. I actually expected it to be a lot faster than what it just got. Wow. Alright. I'll get the next car ready. It's time to bring a little bit of violence to this. The first Roadkill car up, General Mayhem. Now this car never had an episode because it was built before I actually started to record these. But what General Mayhem started out as is just like the actual Roadkill one. It was a bare shell of a 68 Charger, built it up and put a big block 440 in it. It's literally the car. I did say that I was going to get new tires for this. Obviously, as you can see, I never did. So this is probably going to go very well with the skinny tires that it has. I think it's got an open posi diff. I don't think it is a limited slip, so then this thing can do donuts, so this thing's probably going to slide around a lot. It's got, I think, a big block 440, pretty much a stock engine, just I think it is 4-bell carburetors. And yeah, that's it though. Now I don't have any hope in this thing doing any better, but it's worth a try. And it's not very violent at all. Now this car handles very poorly. It's already doing a donut. This thing is actually kind of fun to drive. Yeah, this thing isn't winning. But I mean, it's rear-wheel drive. It's got way too much horsepower going into the differential. This car could use a little bit of work, but I mean, it's a lot of fun for what it was built for. Oh my god, I can't get this thing straight at all. Jesus. Yeah, it's already past the ETK. Oh man. There was plans to maybe put a faster engine in this thing, but I think for now it's going to be keeping the big block in it because it can barely keep itself straight on this track. And a 1 minute 8 second .5. Oh man, that's a big difference. So 108.6 05, whoopsie. 05. That is pretty sad for General Mayhem. I bet if I did a couple more runs, it would probably do a little. I'd do a little bit better. But I think that's what this car is going to be getting. Now, I don't have very much faith in this car. This is the Sean Burst. It's a car that Sean built in episode 8, I'm pretty sure. It's a Hirochi Sunburst Ute, which went up against General Hawk. This thing pretty much has a straight 6 in it. It's got a turbo. The turbo's probably going to blow because this engine sucks. It's got off-road tires, lifted suspension, and Jeep life going on with the no doors and roof. But yeah, I got very little faith in this thing. So, let's begin. That was kind of weird. It kind of like shifted when I hit the gas. That was very weird. Now, the one thing that I think is going to put this car at a disadvantage is the suspension. It is yet to spin out, though. A few of the things that I did to the car, though, is obviously fix the turbo. But not only that, we put a smaller set of tires on because the other tires were way too wrong. They were way too wide or big for the car. But that was a pretty solid run, I gotta say. 45-second run! Respectable. 45.66 second run. Not bad for an utter pile. There is plans for this car in the future, but I mean, not bad. Not bad at all. Damn, Sean, you built a good car. So, I have no faith in this car at all at getting around this track without spinning it at least 5 times. This is General Hawk. This car was my car in episode 9 versus Sean's Sean Burst. This thing has, I think, a 385 cubic inch engine with a stage 4 supercharger. And it has tires that are nowhere near the width that they should be to put that power to the ground. Literally, this thing has the blown out suspension. It has the locked to the differential. New tires. It got new tires from the last time you've seen it. And it also got a hood, a front facade again, and a new fender, because we ripped those off. If you actually look underneath, you can see which fender was actually the one that get ripped off. It still has the stock brakes. It has a roll cage. I think we put in the roll cage for episode 9. But other than that, oh yeah, and it's got taillights now. So this thing is almost a street legal car. But let's give it a try. I have no faith in this thing whatsoever, but it's going to be interesting. Oh, Jesus. Oh my god, I'm like just feathering the gas, and as you can see, the suspension really does suck on this thing. And it's a one burner. Like it doesn't put 2 tires to the ground when you slam the gas down. Wow, am I actually keeping this thing from spinning out? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. And it's broke again. Oh, I broke the drive shaft. Wow. This car ceases to break every episode. This thing's worse than the Rotson. But it almost beat... Well, it's in dead last. No, it's not in dead last. A 46.12. Decent, but I broke the car for it. God, this thing, I need to get this car dialed in. Because that's... Now the engine's going to have to come out. So probably a new engine and a transmission. I'll probably just leave the hood off, because there's no point of doing that. It's going to need a new front facade, a new fender, a new windshield. Probably a brand new control arm in the front, so I'll probably end up doing the suspension. But... there you go. Broke yet again. And by far, no matter how much this car sucks, this is actually one of my favorite cars. Because of just how much fun it is to drive. Now this is going to go utterly wrong. This car is Papa Wheelie. I think this was in episode 6 with Stubby Bob, which is broken. But I built this. This is an old derby car that's been around for ages. It's been sitting in the roadkill lot. But I wanted to make this thing do wheelies. And we put a Moonhawk engine in it with the stage 4 supercharger. And just so then that it can put down the power, we gave it some big fat tires in the rear. And this thing does a wheelie. I'm hoping it doesn't do a wheelie off the line, but this car is pretty much a different engine, a different rear end, and bigger tires in the back. Nothing else done to it other than that. Oh, and we ripped the fenders and facade off. But that doesn't matter, because we're going to do wheelies with it down the track. Hopefully not. So I will get my stopwatch ready and go. And of course it does a wheelie, and we're not stopping. Oh, we're not stopping at all. We are off the track. Yeah, this thing doesn't turn. Oh my god. This thing is atrocious. It's doing a wheelie around every corner, which sucks, but this is where I can make up time. It's not going to beat the ETKs by what I just saw. 44.6. Wow. These cars are better than I thought. Oh, wait. No, it's currently in third, though. Yeah, it's in third place. So we have the ETKI series in first, the ETK 800 in second, Derby's in third, the Sean Burst is in fourth, General Hawk is in fifth, and then General Mayhem is in dead last right now. That was good, though. That was actually a decent car. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Decent car. Still does wheelies. Not broken either. And it's sat. Now, for the car that has changed the most. This thing has changed the most. Literally. This is the Roadkill Barstow. This thing originally started off tan with nothing. It was literally a bone stock little straight six car. And now it's become this. So I don't remember much of the history of this car up until when I put the Hellcat engine in it. But I think it had some Baruckle V8 in it with a Stage 2 supercharger. Then we plopped the Hellcat engine in it, and we put the bigger tires on it. And then recently I painted the car, I gave it a new hood, and I made it pretty much a drag car from when you saw it. I think this car was definitely in episode 1. It was in episode 3 or 4, and then the one with the drag side when we took it to Bonneville to do some tests. But this thing's evolved a lot since you've last seen it. And it's pretty much fully a drag car now. I don't have a lot of hope in this thing actually doing well, but here we go with the Barstow. Now I think this thing is going to be the same story as the other car. I think if this thing had different tires in the back that could grip with the Hellcat power, it would have a chance of beating the ETKs. Oh, I gotta slam the brakes on there. Actually, this thing's doing well. For what I expected, it's doing well. And it beat the ETKs. It got a 39.37. Wow. This is a good car. Good car. Wow. This thing was worth the while. Ah, the Barstow. This being another one of my personal favorite cars here. This was built in episode 3. This was actually the first episode on my new computer, this car. So, yeah. This thing's actually really cool. From when you've last seen it, it's gotten the new engine. It's still a 291 cubic inch. It's just rebuilt. It doesn't smoke anymore. And other than that, it just got different rims. I put some mags on it because they seemed fitting for the car. They're as wide as General Mayhem's, but I think this thing will stand a good chance. I don't think it's going to get anywhere near first, but worth a shot. And just because I got to burn through the tires. Now for the backstory for this thing. It's just a car that we got and sat in the lot for a while. Oh, I'm gonna loop it. Now this thing puts down some insane power actually for what it is. This thing was really built to be a daily driver or just something that is drivable. I think it has a Stage 2 supercharger on it, which puts down some decent power. I would go through all the cars and write down their horsepower results. 47.55. Wow, I'm glad that I saved that, though. I don't want to crash this thing. This thing's too good. Not bad, though. Alright. Not a bad car. Now this is one that I'm worried about. I said that I was going to drop a new engine into this after putting the diesel, but never got around to it. But yeah, this is the Jeepster, built last episode. Straightforward. Jeep. That's really it. It's got a diesel engine, it's got a hater pipe, it's got off-road suspension. Not made for this application whatsoever, but we're going to give it a shot. Now, I'm not very sure how well this thing is going to do. It's actually doing decent. What happened to the transmission on this thing? I didn't think this thing had a 6-speed. I thought it only had a 5. Maybe it changed. Wow. Oh, there it is, the red line. It is a 5-speed. I thought it had a 6-speed. 48.18 second run. Respectable. Respectable for this thing. I didn't have much faith in it to do very well, but yeah. Seems like General Mayhem is going to be in dead last because all these cars are doing this track in under a minute. Now, I got no faith in this thing, too. This car is utterly terrible. It might actually run a decent time, but yeah, this thing is Sean's Impala. It's based off of his old car in real life. He now owns a Jeep, surprisingly. But originally he ripped this car apart. He wanted to rip it apart, give it a drag engine, and give it drag radials. But I wanted it to be a Jeep, and I wanted it to be street legal because the Impala isn't actually a bad car. It isn't that bad to drive. It just, you know, it doesn't turn well. But we're gonna find out how well of a track car it is. You get this reset and go. Now this thing is currently running I think a 3.6 liter V6 with a diesel truck turbo. And it's... oh yeah, there it goes. There it goes, picking up some power. Oh, this thing doesn't brake. I don't think this thing has brakes anymore. Did it just tie with a car? Wow! It beat the ETK 800, a 40.70 second run. Wow! Jesus Christ! Oh, does this thing not have reverse? What's wrong? There it goes. That was cool. Alright. Now here is a freshie. This is the new car right here, the Covet. So, we just got this thing. It's a cheap car, and I wanted it to be. As you can see by the body kit, is made out of complete cardboard. Underneath the hood is a 3-cylinder, maybe a 2-cylinder. No exhaust. Brand new turbo, new tires, and front-wheel drive. Thing's butchered. But I have faith in it to do a pretty clean run. And go. That's not very fast compared to the other cars. It's actually running very decent for a 2, maybe 3-cylinder engine. Smokes like crazy though. Obviously the whatchamacallit, the head gasket's gotta be blown. And stop. 45.10. Not bad. Not bad for an utter pile that I threw together in a day. Now, my baby right here, the Rotson, which is a 200BX. I'm not clicked onto the screen. This car has been seen a lot on this channel. So just the first off to go in to explain the car's originality, it's an old 200BX. Originally, when we first got the car, we ripped the front bumper off somehow, and now it's finally got a new bumper. It's not the right bumper, as you can see. It's more made for a wide body kit, which this thing's never gonna get, but I was just sick of having the bash bar there. Other than that, though, the door was stolen. It originally had a straight 6 with a crappy transmission. The trans eventually blew, so we tried to put a 5.5 liter V8 into the car. That ended up erupting, which you saw in an extra, and now it's got a flat 6 with a 6-speed, a race 6-speed transmission, so it's a race car. Even though it doesn't have a roll cage or stickers, it's a race car. And the gas gauge is broken. I don't know what's wrong with it, actually. But time to give this thing an opportunity. Now, I just put new tires on it as well. I put racing slicks on it just to give it a little bit better grip going around the corners. Because I'm gonna race this thing to hell. .42.26. Not bad for the Rotson. 42.26. Wow. Rotson's a good car from what it's come from, because this thing used to suck for a little while and I hated it. And the final car, the Grandma Go-Getter. I struggled very hard to get a final car, and this is what we came out with. The Grandma Go-Getter is a new car. It is yet to be worked on. It's basically a stock car, other than the front headlights missing, but it might get them soon. But yeah, there's nothing really to go into with this car, so let's race it, get this over with, because this is the final car. It is an automatic, so it sucks. It is off-road tires, so it's going to slide. But it's a very good car at sliding, and it's very slow. Yeah, no, this thing's pretty calm for a finale. Should have thought of something better for a finale car. Other than that, though, 48-34. Respectable. So if we look at this list, the only car that beat the ETKs was the Barstow with the Hellcat engine. Wow. Oh, but there's also, wait, what's the other car? 4070, and there's a car that beat the ETK I series. Or no, beat the ETK 800. Yeah. It's amazing. You know? Built 10 cars, 2 of them broken. A couple randoms that I built before I started to record this, and 2 modern day sports cars. All thrown into this one heap of a shootout to see which one's better, and only 2 have to. Came out on the top. Well, yeah, I thought for episode 10 do something a little special here, because I've wanted to do a shootout with a bunch of the cars. Like, I wanted to do all the cars, but the amount of time that it would take would be forever, and this is already going to be a really long video. But other than that, episode 10, and we got a ton more coming. Just trust me, there's a ton more ideas. We got the Grandma Go-Getter. Stubby Bob has some plans in the work, and it's amazing. And just to think that, you know, this is the last Roadkill video that I'm going to be doing as a high schooler, because for the month of July I'm going to be graduated. Very cool. Alright, there you go though. This has been episode 10 of Roadkill. This complete butchery and awesomeness of pure proportions. And yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.